Yo, what is up guys, and welcome to a brand new video all to do with Delta Force, its settings and sensitivities. A lot of people have been asking in the live streams, what are your settings, what are your sends? And I said, I don't know, I haven't got it sorted. Well, guess what? I've now got it sorted. As you can see with the gameplay, we have been beaming, and now it's time to give you guys that secret sauce to get you beaming like a pro. Okay, so we're going to hit that start button and we're going to go into the game settings. Right now, I play on quite a lot of things that are default, but I'm going to be focusing on the operations settings more than the warfare settings. However, all of the controller settings will transfer over to warfare, so make sure you are staying tuned for that if that's what you're after. So okay, hit effect color. This is also preference. I keep it on red. I just like the realism factor of red blood rather than pink and all of that jazz. For any other settings here, I'm going to leave the value threshold at around 30,000. This just makes it so you're not putting trash in your safe box, especially with some people starting out. You're only going to have like a 1x2 box, so it's really not going to help you having junk in there, and then something that's worth a lot more value comes in over the top, goes in your bag, you die and you lose everything. So we're going to leave that as is. Now this is what you really come for. This is the controller sensitivities. Now depending on your controller and what you can actually have, you can have a right stick in a dead zone at 4. This is quite a nice spot for me. It basically just means that my aim feels snappy, doesn't feel sluggish, doesn't feel like there's any time to really lock in, and I can finally adjust my aim. And then the left stick in a dead zone, I have the 6, because on this game, for some reason, it feels like if you're trying to open one of the big safes, then your controller will make your character move around slightly and basically miss the safe, and it also just messes everything up. It's quite weird. I will probably add a clip right now that you can see, so you can just see that sort of happening. It's really annoying, but we will get that sorted hopefully in a future patch. So that is why the inner dead zone is on 6. Now for the stick response curve, we actually have the linear of the 3. We have standard, linear, and dynamic. I've gone for linear. It feels really nice to have linear, as it just directly corresponds to whatever you're doing on your stick. It just feels very fluid, very samey, and that's what you want with your sends. You want it to feel samey, because you want to know what your aim is going to do at all times rather than guessing. Because if you have a sensitivity that works at some ranges, that's really bad, because you need it to work at all ranges. So for me to do that, I have it on linear, and then my sensitivity preset is on custom. Now my hip fire horizontal is 160 and my vertical is 120. You do want your horizontal to be higher than your vertical, just because of how the FAV works in this game, and it will just generally help you more. You're going to be aiming left and right more often than you are up and down. So if you're aiming up and down really fast, it's going to throw you off in quite some fights. The outer dead zone acceleration, I wouldn't worry about it too much on this one, but I have it set to 200 and it feels quite nice here with the vertical on 0, so I can go up pretty much instantly, but it's not going to accelerate any faster than it needs to. My hip fire turning activation time is where basically it's when your extra sensitivity kicks in while at maximum input. So this is just going to help you turn that little bit faster if you get shot in the back. But again, in Delta Force, you're probably dead before you can actually turn around anyway. Hip fire turn delay, absolutely 0. We don't want any delay on this. Now this is where it gets kind of interesting, and people say I play on really slow sensitivity, but there's a reason for this, and I'm going to let you in on the secret sauce. I have my horizontal on 80 for the linear stick response curve. I may remind you, if you play on standard or dynamic, these sensitivities will feel much different, so make sure you're trying it out on linear first. It's set to 80, which is very slow, and a 55 vertical. Now I've been playing around with this in quite a few extraction games, and this feels to me like probably one of the best ways to maximize aim assist on the game without feeling that you're out of control, your sensitivity is too slow or too fast. It's a really nice sweet spot. So when you're aiming down, I usually use the 1.5 to 5x scope on my AUG, as you've seen in the previous clip, and it seems to really lock on target nice and be quite sticky. So you're definitely going to want this if you want to just beam your opponents very easily. ADS turning activation time, we have this on 100, and the turn delay just set down to 10. Now you can change set sensitivities per zoom, but I have this off. I try and keep everything samey, everything sort of default as such, because I feel like that's honestly one of the best ways to play. Once you've got these sensitivities set, then having all of this, if you're changing them up and down, it will just mess with your mental, and it just really helps to have everything the same. The sensitivity transition mode, I have this on ADS transition. I have tried at the start and end, but it just kind of messed me up a little bit after I spent a few hours just playing with ADS transition. So for now, we're going to leave that as it is. And then all of this is actually on default. It's all off because this is mostly for warfare, which I don't play. Again, this is all vehicles, aircraft, gunners, all stuff for warfare, which unfortunately I can't help you on, but with a little bit of tuning, I'm sure it's not too hard to get a hold of. For controls, I do use a custom controller preset. It's really not far from the default preset, so bear with me on this as we'll go through that right now. For movement, make sure to set your auto run / tactical sprint to close. It's by default on auto, but it actually really doesn't feel good when you're trying to be sneaky and you are heard stomping around the gaff and everybody just turns around to shoot you like you're a herd of elephants. So make sure this is on close so you can actually play slower when it comes to the games. Now for lean peak, have this on toggle. This is actually going to help you a bunch. Having it on hold just feels really weird to me. You'll see why. Very much PUBG style / Rainbow Six style. We will go into that right now. So for controls and combat, this is actually all default. Whatever it is as the default, this is what I play on. So don't worry about this too much. You will see left and right peak here, but do not change this. There's literally zero reason to change this right now. But you will still be able to peak left and right, as I'll explain. If you change it here, it will mess up with your run and sprint. So that's where it's going to catch you out. Now in the aim, now this is where you want to change these. These will probably be LB and RB or L1 and R1 on PlayStation. I changed these to the left stick and the right stick in. That gives me that PUBG feel or that Rainbow Six feel. Obviously, anything that you're comfortable with, make sure you do it, but change your peaks in the aim functionality here. For all the vehicles, again, I don't play warfare, but that is where you can change it there. Again, I'm sure default's probably absolutely fine. In graphics, this is where it can get a bit interesting. If you have VSync on, it means that your performance mode is locked to basically graphics and you can only get 60 frames, where if you have it off, you will unlock the frame rate performance mode, which can get you up to 120 frames if you're on the PS5 Pro. On the Xbox Series X, it's hovering around 100 frames on average. That's with a FOV of 105. For audio, I just have it on headphones. Anything else is all default other than copyright music playback, which is off. So if you're opening safes in some of the missions, you won't have that annoying song that's playing and you can actually hear footsteps. This can be a real game changer. And then there you have it. That is my settings for Delta Force console. Try them out. Let me know in the comments below what you think of these, if they're working for you, and what videos you want to see around Delta Force console coming up next. As I was a PC player, now transitioned to console. I'd love to know your thoughts and your first look experiences. Until next time, take it easy. Bye.